We start in Lebanon. Public anger there is growing over the devastating explosion in the capital, Beirut, on Tuesday. The blast killed more than 150 people, injuring many more, and destroyed large parts of the city. There have been angry demonstrations in central Beirut, with some people throwing stones and other objects. Police have used tear gas against them. Protesters blame the apparent accidental blast of combustible material stored illegally at the city's port on years of political corruption and incompetence. And they say it's these very political conditions that are hindering the relief and recovery effort now. Let's turn to Basil Aridi in downtown Beirut. Basil, welcome. Organizers are calling today a day of rage. What exactly is happening where you are?
They call it Day of Rage, of Anger, and the Judgment. They give it the three titles, these three names. What's happening right now, that there's the demonstration or the protest turned into violence a little bit. As you can see behind me, the riot police, the Lebanese armed forces, they have clashes. They are clashing with the protesters a few meters away from here, just near the Martyr Square, where the protest was supposed to take place today. All the protesters today, they asked for this huge protest in a way or in a bet, let's say, to take the momentum again, especially that all the new government and all the politicians that they promised to make reforms, to make this country become better. They promised the international community, they promised the Lebanese people, especially the protesters, that they will do the reforms according to their demands. None of that happened. That's why, and the straw that broke the camel, it's not the camel back, it's the country's back, was the explosion at the harbor. That was the peak of it. That's why all the people, let me to be more specific, most of the Lebanese, they asked for these protests today. And they call it the Day of Rage, Anger, and Judgment. Judgment for all the political system right now and the sectarian regime.
Lebanon is such a diverse society. So tell us more about these protesters.
Yes,
do they represent broadly society?
To be accurate in this question, the Lebanese is divided into 18 different sects, and each sectarian party has at least two leaders, and each leader has its supporters. So when we talk about Lebanon, we have to talk about diversities of in religion, in sectarian, and even in politics. Especially that most of the Lebanese parties belong to sectarian notions. That's why it's hard to say that these protests represent all the Lebanese people really will share or join or enjoy the protesters here, because most of the Lebanese people, mainly the political parties, I mean, they think that they look at the state as part of the cheese or a cake, and each one has its own part of it. And all the political clashes or these hard debates, political debates, due to the influence of each sect into this state. That's why we see this country, and since the last 30 years, in continuous political turmoil.
So it's already such a complicated political situation domestically. Then we add on the international perspective. European Council President Charles Michel is coming to Beirut. What do protesters there want to see from people like Michel, from the EU, from the international community?
That's what I've been asking since the first day of the protest, I mean the 17th of October in 2019. They asked all the EU, the US, the Western countries, the international community to act hardly with the political elite. All these policymakers, they believe that they turned this country into a failed state. That's why they are asking all these, the EU mainly, when French President Macron was here in Lebanon 2 days ago, when he visited the district of Gemaidi, one of the residential area that was hardly destroyed by the explosion, they told him directly that don't give money to these decision makers, to those policy makers, to those political elites, because they will stall it. And he said in advance that he will not pay blank checks. That's why, and today as well, it seems that the EU, many of the European countries, will help Lebanon through NGOs or international communities or institutions. That's mean, according to the protesters that I heard them this morning, some of them, they were saying that this indicate and this clear idea that the international community will not trust anymore and doesn't trust anymore with the political elite in Lebanon, because they know that they are nothing but corrupted politicians.
GW's Bassel Iredi in Beirut, thank you very much. Please stay safe.
Thank you.